guys, welcome to the Gotta Have Miami show. We got Ash.
Yes.
Episode 36.
36 in Alice Wainwright Park.
Alice Wainwright Park, established sometime in the early 70s, as a lot of these parks were.
Yeah.
All right, so
It was
yeah.
a trend.
It was a trend. It was a happening thing back in the 70s. I wasn't happening much in the 70s, but everything else was. So again, we're here from Alice Wainwright Park. Ashley, you know what? We haven't done our intro in a while. Like forever. So you want to do the intro?
Okay.
Do you remember the intro?
I think so.
Okay, go for it.
So
Let's
this
do
is the Gotta Have Miami show, where we take politics and cultural influence and tie it all into real estate.
Right, and just in the Miami market and Miami-Dade County.
Specifically in the Miami-Dade market, that's our specialty.
That's our specialty.
Hence the Gotta Have Miami name.
Yeah, that would probably be the dead giveaway. So one of the things that we're going to be talking about today is
sea level, elevation, flooding, etc.
etc., which we all get those questions all the time. And if today is Friday, if you were here yesterday, we got a 30-minute rainstorm and all hell broke loose in Brickell. I mean, all hell broke loose. I was driving through, I was coming from Venetian Isle, and being a local, I know how to escape a lot of
those low
Right,
areas.
and also the fact that we own 2 Jeeps makes it a little bit easier.
Right.
So we were literally navigating through, and over there by the construction where the new bridge is going to be, was brutal. And again, we just keep throwing concrete up, and it's tough to drain that kind of stuff out. And I know that we're doing, pumps to get stuff out of the water, but as we've said many times, it's not what you see on the rise, which is we're out here. It's what is coming up from the bottom.
Right, that's rising from beneath us. It's not that it's
no, it is. It's like percolating right below us here. So I know that Ash wanted to do this topic. So you get questions about.
I do a lot of business in the Grove, and a very common question is this parking lot going to flood? And in Coconut Grove, the answer is no. And we thought this would be a really good representation of how elevated Coconut Grove and Silver Bluff is. As you can actually see here, this is at least how much elevation we have. So I'm probably standing about sea level right now. And when you probably got
a little bit above sea level.
Yeah, and then you got like 8 to 10 feet behind us, and
this is actually one of the lower points, because this is a good example. This is the Silver Bluff, and you've heard the Silver Bluff neighborhood. There is a reason for the bluff, and it really runs all along the coastline. And basically, if you use I-95 as your kind of visual, you'll see that that is where everything really kind of elevates up. Yeah. And so Silver Bluff, Coconut Grove, Coral Gables, a lot of the original municipalities lie on the bluff for that reason. They were not flood prone, and you could actually build on them, making it easier to build. So every time you get a question asked about Coconut Grove, you say, nope, we be on the bluff.
I said we're actually above sea level.
Exactly, you're a lot above sea level. I live in the Grove, and I'm at roughly about 13 and a half, 14 feet.
But Coconut Grove does have a floodplain, doesn't it?
It does. In the lower areas that were redeveloped later on in the 50s, if you go down like Sunrise, Prospect, Battersea, where the mayor lives, where Suarez lives. Hey, sorry that I called out the fact that you live on Battersea, but kind of everybody knows it. He's in a floodplain, so he's paying federal flood insurance. Sorry, dude. Too bad for you. You didn't have a good realtor.
We'll never direct you to a floodplain.
We'll try to keep it. And if we do direct you to a floodplain, we'll kind of let you know. But we get that question a lot, and one of the reasons that Coconut Grove, Coral Gables, some of these neighborhoods do have a price point on them is because they are, not prevalent to flooding, and that's actually a critical point.
And I think it's important to point out.
Like doing this again.
Do it again.
So look, I'm like 5'7", so I climbed up to about 10 feet.
Yeah, you see that?
Yeah.
So I just because you're next to the ocean doesn't mean that you are more likely to flooding. For example, you're going to be in a flood zone out west in Kendall and the hammocks. Those are flood zones. And here we are in neighborhoods right next to the water, not flood zone. So
I'm gonna say something that's kind of interesting, at least to me. And a lot of things that I say are interesting to me because they're not interesting to anybody else. But all the realtors out there and all the people out there that actually watch the show or want to see something that's kind of interesting is go to 8th Street and Lejeune Road. So get to Lejeune Road, make a left on 8th Street. And you're gonna see that as you're going down 8th Street, right around 49th, you're going to see a little dip. 49th would be where Granada ties into 8th Street. You're going to see a little dip. And 8th Street, you got to remember, was one of the first streets, Tamiami Trail. So you're going to see a little dip, and that's going to be your first little dip in what would have originally been the Everglades going out. As you get to like 70 something, 60 something, you're going to see another little dip.
Yeah.
And that's when you start to lose that grade, and you're leaving from the actual bluff area, the higher elevation, and you're starting to get into what would have been the Glades floodplains.
Yeah.
So all you realtors out there, you're welcome for this plus. And as you get to Doral, that is all underwater. It's actually a couple feet under
sea level. Yeah. Correct.
So those are all of the things. So for folks that are worried about sea level rise, we get this question all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, we are resilient. We're working on a lot of things. The city of Miami is working, the county's working on a lot of projects to be able to make the city's lower areas more resilient.
Yeah.
I've always argued the point that we have to really address our plumbing issues. And when I say plumbing, is we're really talking about septic tanks. We've gone through those.
And that's because of this action, not this action.
Not exactly.
This
it's
action.
not what you see out in the bay. It's actually what's coming up from below you, because that's really what's really the sea level rise is actually doing.
Right.
So again, I think this was a good visual, and we really wanted to show this to everybody out there that this is what makes the Grove a special place.
Yeah, and you don't even have to come into the park, although you should, because they just redid the boardwalk, and it's really nice and pleasant.
Sure is.
But if you're just driving down Bayshore Drive, you will see. Ooh.
My phone. We're going to do the little sound thing. Don't worry about it, unless it.
Just gave a little silence.
Too bad. That's another spam call.
So if you drive down Bayshore Drive, you can actually see some of the bluff exposed there in some of the areas.
If you see water on your right-hand side, the bluff will be on your left-hand side. You're traveling north. So, it's actually really good. I remember when I used to do little tours and stuff like that, we used to show those properties as an example. And then here, you're actually looking at, this is Bluff 1. Right. That's actually Bluff 2, or actually the bigger side of it. So
it's very interesting stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Also,
and it's oolite rock, by the way.
What is it?
Oolite.
Oolite.
That's what it's called.
Oolite.
Oolite. Exactly. So.
There was something in the Miami Herald today that the Miami Herald posted on their social media. There's a park near downtown that's doing zip lining.
Really?
So I need to find out more, but if you're interested, Google it, because I saw it. Look on the Miami Herald.
It's about time we got like a crazy zip line.
So like the promotion of it is you see the zip lining and you see the city skyline in the background. It's really cool. So
there's one in Montreal, but it's kind of lame.
No.
It's kind of is in the harbor, and you basically don't see anything on either side. It's kind of like, well, it's lame when no one's in line. That's when you know something is lame, when there's absolutely nobody in line.
Demand.
No demand.
No demand.
So that brings me to the feds.
Yeah.
About demand.
Oh.
Feds. And what I mean by that is the Treasury Department, all those federal guys that are jacking up the interest rates.
Yeah.
I know you're trying to stop inflation, but actually you're creating a bigger problem. You're creating a housing issue, and we already had a housing problem. And dear feds, you're screwing it up even more, because you're focusing on all of these little items when what you're really affecting is the residential real estate market. And I don't say it because we're realtors and it affects our business and stuff like that. We've been through the good and the bad, and we'll always get by. But what you're doing is you're actually forcing, by raising your interest rates, you're raising the mortgage rates. By raising the mortgage rates, you're not bringing down the residential market. It's still a supply and demand. There's still more demand than there is supply. That you're not going to change by continuously moving up the rates. But what you're really screwing up is you're really forcing renters to pay even more money. Why? Because as people can't buy homes at whatever the rate, now you're bringing more people into a rental market that is so stressed.
Oof.
That is so difficult to do. And all you're doing is you're creating the same inflationary that you're trying to avoid by just not tackling the two things that needs to be tackled, which is mortgage rates, to bring them down, to put people in homes, and then the rental rate, to ease the rental rates. Because as you put more people in homes, rentals go down.
And the rentals go down.
That's kind of basic math. And I know you guys are economics people.
I
all sorts of smart people, but no.
I am not a numbers person. That's never been my history. But common sense. Like, if the average person can't go get a mortgage, who's buying up the houses then? The investors with the cash. Yeah.
And then they're renting them to a higher rent. So you're causing, you're not solving anything, guys. No. And again, going back to the inflationary, yes, you're paying more for meat, you're paying more for gas. But we as individuals and as consumers make those decisions by saying, hey, we can tolerate a $4 gallon gas. $5, okay, puts a little pressure on us, and we're going to say, no, we're not going to drive as much. We'll use Amazon.
Right.
So, it's just frustrating as hell to see it. And sorry, that was my rant.
Well, it's a good rant because it's an important topic, and it's like your three basic needs: food, water, shelter.
Yeah.
You know, and
And shelter. And the thing about it is, shelter is one of their main indicators of inflation rate. So if you are causing that to continue to rise,
yeah,
you're not lowering inflation.
no,
You're not going to lower inflation. All you're going to do is show a bigger number and a bigger number and a bigger number.
yeah.
And I went to like public schools, and I kind of figured that out. So, sorry guys. And I went to Miami public schools, which is kind of special. So yeah, all of those things. What else we got? That's it. We did like a little quickie. We did 2 this week. We're
Yeah,
excited.
we did
But
too.
we really did want to talk about this elevation issue because we get that question all the time.
Yeah.
And you can see it visually when you're down on the Brickell
Yeah.
Brickell side. And I think that's one of the topics that is going to really be prevalent in 23 when we start talking about insurance.
Insurance, right?
Insurance is, and so just be prepared for that. So for now, are we done?
We're done.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though what? You were going to say something?
Oh, even though that the prices are higher over here on the
Yep.
no floods zone.
Right.
you
For a
know,
reason.
For a reason.
Because you
It's
don't have
part
flood
of,
insurance and you don't pay. There's a reason. There's reasons for everything. So, and again, public school math. So again, we thank you for coming by. Subscribe. We haven't had any new subscribers since like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
We haven't had, but we're
So
getting
let's go,
views.
folks.
You guys are out there watching.
Yeah,
We
it's just-
appreciate you.
Yeah, get out of them, and we get a lot of. We're starting to get a lot of views, and one day we'll reveal why we get a lot of views. It's an interesting thing. Some people know about it. So again, we thank you for tuning in. And again, if you have any topics that you want us to talk about, because we kind of ramble on some of these things. If you have a topic that you really want some information on,
Leave it in the comments.
yeah,
Send
leave
us a
it-
message.
Yeah, leave it in the comments, and we will look at it and get it on the tube.
On the tube.
On the tube.
On
All right,
the
guys.
YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Have a good weekend.
All right.
Take it easy.
Enjoy.
Be well.